Hey everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. So today's a special day because we're gonna do a client interview, and so I'm here with one of my past clients, and so this is the first time I've ever done this, and we're just gonna hear about Francois's experience with coaching and his thoughts. So thanks so much, Francois. You're the first one I've ever done this with. I'm excited to have you.
I'm honored. Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about you, like where do you live? What's dating kind of been like? Just tell us a little bit about you for a sec.
I live in Buffalo, New York. Dating has been hell. I have, and I don't know how explicit we can get on
We
your.
can get explicit.
Okay, so I come from the cruising grounds, the bathhouses, and the adult shops,
Mm,
and oh my God, being with men it's just been an exercise in frustration, being used and discarded, using and discarding others. The hookup apps, Grinder is the devil. Um, and it's just I've done that for over 15 years. I've just been in spaces where, and I get it. Some people say, "Oh, it's just sex, it's just fun," but it's just at a certain point, as one gets older, it starts damaging something inside the self-esteem. I remember I used to be such an upbeat, kind of confident um young person, and just spending time on Grinder and all these apps, I left there a broken person.
oh
Just someone
wow.
who I did not feel attractive. I certainly didn't feel attractive, and I didn't feel lovable. Because what people are looking for is a model. They're looking for a model and someone who's making six figures and has a six pack and is 6 feet tall and is hung like a horse and white. And not everybody has these attributes. And so I really could not see my value for
Mm,
years because of how much time I spent on hookup apps and on cruising grounds and with random sexual partners. So dating for me, to answer your question, horrendous, absolutely horrendous, heart-wrenching, and it left me feeling like I just was not a lovable, just not lovable.
yeah. Honestly, I relate to that. That's like my whole story, and I think a lot of people do too. And I always feel so conflicted because with Grindr, I am very aware that people can meet people on Grindr. Like there's no doubting it. It's fine because there's people on there. But the
Hmm.
thing is it's not very predictable because like with relationships, we kind of need to know like personality type, what they're looking for. It helps if we know their values, their attachment style, and like
Mm.
that's not on Grindr when it's just the torso or like no picture at all. And
I mean, yeah.
I don't know what your experience has been like, but with me, I think we talked about this during one of our calls. Is like I felt like we were like I was like negotiating value, like my worth, like on Grindr.
Yeah, and I think the in that specific conversation that we had, I said to you that I felt that I was giving myself on discount.
Yeah.
And that's when you responded and said, yeah, it's like you're negotiating like a piece of meat, at the market, um, what what you can go for. And I don't want to play the victim because I
Yeah,
certainly
sure.
in the time that I've been there, I used and
Yeah.
discarded people
Yeah,
too
me
because
too.
that was the norm. That was just
That
kind of
was the way.
that was the only way that was what I knew at that point. But yeah, there's a better way.
Yeah, yeah, there's a better way. And yeah, same as you. And I try to post about this on Instagram sometimes. It's like I used people too, and I didn't really know. And like I don't want to play the victim. I don't want to say it's right or anything. But we live and we learn.
That's right.
Tell me a little bit about like how did you start to see your value as we started like working together? So like what you described, how did it shift a bit? Is it like
Yeah. I mean, I love that the first section in your formula is the mindset.
yeah,
And I think I told you this before, like I kept laughing in the mantras because it was so audacious. It had audacity. Some of my favorite ones were, hundreds of men. I'm compatible with hundreds of men. Hundreds of men find me attractive. Thousands of men find me attractive. And I was here reciting that, not believing it, but just reciting it anyway, and just like laughing. And then I got to the one mantra that said, "I have a hot body,"
hmm
and I was like, "What?" because it's just like it's perception. The perception is that a hot body is a six pack and kind of tall, but when I think about the people that I find attractive, they don't have six packs. They're
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
kind of chubby and juicy and have some life. So it's just my favorite motivational speaker, Les Brown, says that the
Mm,
thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. And so I love that the very first thing you do in the boyfriend formula is you address how do we think about ourselves? What is the perception of self? And I went to the mirror and I went through the mantras, even if I thought it was funny and it was silly at first and I felt silly doing it, I just did it. I just did what you guided us to do. Um, and at this stage, I don't negotiate my worth. I feel valuable. I feel love. I feel
wow.
like I'm worthy. I feel like I have something to offer. And I'm willing to, I don't know how to say this. I'm willing to hold out, if you will,
Hmm.
until I find what suits me.
Yeah, that's good. Right. Yeah, not negotiating and all that. And yeah, the mantras and affirmations are funny, but I'm glad you did them because sometimes I just want people to do them just to see how it feels, like in your body. Like, is there resistance? Is it funny? Like all of that. And then your mind starts to like kind of think about, wait, that actually could be possible.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so I'm glad you did that.
Yeah.
Um, I'm curious, what had made you want to sign up?
Desperation.
Mm. Some pain.
I was just the pain. I'm 36 years old,
Mm,
and it's like at a certain point, there's this person that I met in one of my recovery groups, and she asked this question of what is so wrong with me that people do better when they're not with me.
mhm,
And I just felt like, my God, like I'm 36. Supposedly, people find me attractive, but
mm,
somehow I can't find a boyfriend. Like, what's wrong with me? Like, Um, and I found by doing this program that the the biggest thing I think was the way that I thought, the way that I think about myself, the way that I think about relationship. It's been it was a harmful, damaged perspective based off of what I knew and what I'd seen. Um, Sorry, I just babbled a whole bunch. What was the question?
yeah, no, I was just curious of like what had made you want to sign up, and
Oh
it
yes.
sounds like
So
like pain and
it
that's
absolutely pain and desperation. I just felt like I I'm done. I'm at the
mm,
end of my rope. I've done everything that I know how to do to secure a
mm,
relationship with a man, and it's not working, and it's not been working for over 15 years.
yeah,
So at a certain point, it's like I heard it said once that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result every single time. And so I just had to come to the conclusion that I'm insane and for once say enough. I've done it my way. It doesn't work. Clearly, I don't know what I'm doing. So let me find someone who seems to know what they're doing because I
yeah,
communicated on Instagram. I liked how it felt. And it
mm,
was yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's funny. I actually had another client who said the exact same thing about the insanity thing. He's like doing the same thing over and over. Another client was like, clearly, what I'm doing is not working.
Mhm.
Um, I'm curious. This is kind of a vulnerable, deep question. I feel a little bit of emotion around it, but
Mhm.
what made you trust me?
Ooh, that make me emotional.
Me too.
Um, and I I said this to my buddy, who I hope is gonna sign up for your program, but you're just affable. You just there's a genuine sincerity with which you conduct your work
Wow.
that says to me, this is this is a person living in alignment. This is a person who did what I did. You know, you mentioned Grinder, who's been there, done that. It's not a shock, and was able to overcome, able to survive. Grinder is murderous. And I use that word intentionally because there are many articles out there that show how men who use Grinder are at a higher risk of committing suicide than other men who, gay men who don't. And so for me, Grinder, Sniffies, Squirt,
Mhm.
all of them, they just increase anxiety and mental. They do something to the mind that is not healthy and it's profoundly harmful. So to know that you could speak to me at that level and that you'd been able to overcome it and be in a monogamous, healthy, life affirming relationship with a man, and that you'd created a whole system,
Mm.
a whole formula for how to help you. You're saving other men. You're saving lives with this program, and I just felt that in my heart that you're a good person who's like Harriet Tubman, who got to freedom and then came back to snatch more people and help them get to freedom as well.
Mm. Oh wow, that's beautiful. I appreciate that, Francois. Um, and uh, and honestly I feel the same way. I'm quite particular with the people that I work with on a one-on-one capacity.
Mm,
Just a couple more questions here, and
sure.
I'll let you go. Let me see here. Uh, I'm going to go ahead.
Okay.
So yeah, I was going to ask you what were you doing before, and what are you like doing now as a result of learning the framework? You mentioned like cruising, and then kind of now it's like okay, knowing my worth. And
Mhm.
anything else? Have you been like maybe releasing certain connections? Have you like approached the apps differently? And like tell me a little bit about like h how you approached it, then how you're approaching it now after like learning the process that I recommend for people.
I had five situationships coming into the boyfriend formula. People who I'd been sexual with. I mean, one of them, we've been in a situationship for 7 years. The other one for 2 years. And it's just a whole smattering of, one night stands who we just keep each other's numbers until we get horny again.
Mm,
And I have been letting them all go one by one. You and I discussed kind of how to do that and the text around that to do so in an empowered way. And the language you used was taking, how do you take your power back, kind of a thing. And I didn't do it all at once because that would be too much for
mm,
me. It would just, but I've been doing it little by little, and oh, it hurts, but it is the hurt of healing,
mm,
not the hurt of harm.
mm.
I am not negotiating my worth, so I'm not on Grinder anymore.
Wow.
I'm not on Sniffies or Squirt or, in bathhouses or and I'm not like some people, they have these couples that they go to bathhouses together and have a whole experience. For some people, that's healthy.
Yeah, sure.
As someone who has done that for many years. I'm looking for something more. So now
Wow.
what I'm doing, I am using the apps which you've recommended, the Tinder, the Hinge, what was the other one?
Bumble. Bumble.
Bumble, yes, thank you. And I'm doing exactly what you mentioned. Like I think in when you're when I was desperate, I was just taking every
Mm,
person who potentially I could have sex with and just swiping right. There's a quote that I heard once that said that the hungry, hold on, the satisfied soul hates the honeycomb, but
mm,
to this, I'm sorry, yeah, the satisfied soul hates the honeycomb, but to the hungry soul, every bitter thing is sweet. And so I would always swipe right because I was just desperate to connect with bodies. Now I'm swiping right with intention. So the first question that I ask based off of the program is, am I attracted to this person? Because in the old days it didn't matter. I just was just
yeah.
swiping right just because. So now there has to be attraction. The next thing I look at is, are they looking for a long-term relationship? Because I would swipe right on guys who look good, but it said still figuring out the dating goals. I swipe left. I'm gonna go figure it out with somebody else. I'm not an experiment. I'm not an experiment. Um, so I look at the long-term goals. I also look at what are their interests. With the interests, I don't necessarily need to be with someone who's has the
Right.
same interests as me. But the big thing is, am I attracted? Are they looking for a long-term relationship? And then once we start communicating, are they willing to either meet in person after a few, I think you've mentioned like 4 messages back and forth. And then also, if we are like, let's say 2, 3 hours apart
Hmm.
geographically, are they willing to get on a
Hmm.
FaceTime call and just chat? And then a lot is revealed through that call because I did that with one guy and he looked completely different to how he looked in his pictures. And so that was the end of that conversation. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Last question is, who do you think this would be a good fit for? Is it someone who is open-minded? Is it someone who's wants something deeper? Who do you think it's a good fit for this type of work?
if you are a gay man and you have been in and out of relationships, don't know how to keep a man, great at the sex, but just have no idea how to build a long-term relationship, and you're tired or you never had one. I know somebody who's 54 years old, gay man, professional, making 6 figures, never been in a relationship with a man, and he wants to be. Then this program is for you. Like anyone who is just for gay men who haven't figured out how to get into a healthy long-term relationship, they need to run, jump, slip, slide, just jump and get on the phone with you. Because this is life altering and life affirming. This whole program has been life affirming for me.
That's beautiful. I really
Mm.
appreciate that. Is there anything else that you want to share? Anything else on your heart? The guys watching this, most gay men, ages mid 20s to 50s probably.
Don't give up. I mean, I know sometimes it seems like there is absolutely no happiness left for me. That, oh, I'm a gay man in a heteronormative world, and this is the curse of God upon me. There's nothing good like this left for me. That's a lie. That is
Wow.
mental health issue. That is something that speak to a therapist, drink some water, go out for a walk, and contact Andrew immediately because we're allowed to be happy too. And happiness is going to look different for everyone, but I know that for me, I gave up.
Yeah.
I completely gave up the hope that I would be able to solve this problem on my own. And I reached out to you, and I've been single for 7 years now. And to be clear, I have had dates recently. I have had a whole bunch of matches ever since I changed my pictures and altered my bio. I have a flood of men and potential
Hmm.
partners.
Hmm.
However, now I need to address another problem, which is
Hmm.
that I have so many dates that I can't pay
Yeah.
like I can't afford all of them because
Right.
dating is expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a new job, and hopefully I interviewed for a job. I have a second interview on the third, so hopefully get some money and be able to actually start dating. But the problem becomes something different. Then I don't feel worthy to be with a
Yeah.
woman. So anyone who is just feels broken and in despair and like there is no love left in this world for you, even if you're living in a remote area where you think there aren't any gay men and you want a relationship, I would definitely recommend that they contact you ASAP.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's well said. And I feel very similar too. I think, I have a tweet quote coming out soon of like, gay men deserve real relationships too, or gay men deserve love
Mm-hmm.
too.
Yeah.
And as I've been doing this, I realized that gay men, we kind of got left behind in some ways. And especially like politically right now, and just the resources aren't there. So, yeah, it's become quite passionate for me.
Yeah, the messaging to gay men, at least I can't speak for all gay men, but from my experience, the messaging to gay men is dangerous and it is destructive. Can we cuss on this?
Yeah,
It's a mind fuck.
yeah.
As a gay man, I was taught that I am a sinful, defective abomination, something that needs to be purified, cleaned, and made righteous so I can go to heaven. And so I think the messaging from religion, from society, teaches us that we're not healthy, normal things. We are other and we should be treated as pariah. And in my own work as a creative, as a songwriter, uh, that is a perception that I've been trying to change, but I didn't know the relationship aspect. And so to
Mhm.
find that you've done the inner work in terms of relationship, to find a science that works in terms of how do you build a healthy relationship while addressing the mindfuck, I think is just due from the divine. It's just this is needed, and I've been
Mhm.
talking about things like this since COVID on my
Mhm.
channel, but I didn't have a solution. I just talked about it, and
Mm, you
kind
saw
of
a problem. You saw it.
I saw a problem that I didn't know how to solve,
Mm,
and you've
yeah.
solved it, and
Yeah.
so I just am hopeful, and I call upon your business, millions and millions of men to come and get the solution because this is saving lives
I,
truly.
I appreciate that so much, Francois. For those listening, I really hope that was helpful, and I'm just so grateful to Francois for sharing your thoughts and your experiences. And I know a lot of people can relate to it for sure. For those listening, if you're curious about other kind of testimonials and stuff, I'll link below other people's experiences as well. So, with that said, thanks so much, Francois, and we'll kind of
Thank
wrap
you.
up there. Thanks so much, everyone.